In life, things often don't go as our minds expect. We are conditioned with certain beliefs about how things should be, what kind of people should surround us, how they should act, how our careers should unfold, and so on. As a result, our expectations frequently clash with reality, leading to unfulfilled hopes, broken hearts, and unmet goals. When this happens, we find ourselves overwhelmed by challenges, consumed by thoughts about what to do next, and obsessed with our problems. But there is a way out. We can trust in the natural flow of life, what some might call the flow of possibilities. The reasoning behind this is simple. Within these flows lies the very logic and purpose that our minds seek. These flows follow the path of least resistance. While the mind tries to reason and make decisions based on cause and effect, it is imperfect and often fails to navigate the world correctly, struggling to find the best solutions. Nature, however, is inherently perfect, so there is more logic and purpose in the natural flow than in even the wisest of human thoughts. The mind will inevitably make mistakes, but it will make fewer of them if it moderates its efforts and allows problems to resolve themselves with minimal interference. This is what it means to let go. In other words, you need to loosen your grip, reduce your control, and allow the flow to have more freedom. Often we create obstacles for ourselves by putting too much pressure on situations. If we can reduce the importance we place on these situations, the obstacles may disappear on their own. And if an obstacle proves stubborn, rather than fight it, we should simply find a way around it. The problem with the mind is that it tends to see any event that doesn't fit into its plan as an obstacle. The mind plans and calculates everything in advance, and when something unexpected happens, it tries to force the situation back into its predefined scenario, often making matters worse. Of course, it's impossible to plan events perfectly, so this is where we need to give more freedom to the flow of life. The flow isn't interested in ruining your fate. That would be illogical. It's actually the mind, with its unreasonable actions, that disrupts your destiny. We also derail our lives through our reactions to situations, leading us down negative paths. Here, it's essential to remember the principle of coordinating intent. Every event in life can lead you down two different paths, one favorable and the other unfavorable. Each time you encounter a situation, you make a choice about how to perceive it. If you view the event positively, you move towards the favorable path. However, a tendency toward negativity leads to dissatisfaction and a choice of the unfavorable path. Imagine how much happier life could be if the mind reduced its sense of importance and accepted deviations from its plans. Practice mindfulness and observe, even for just one day, how the mind tries to grab the world by the throat and bend everything to its beliefs. Someone offers their opinion and you argue. Someone does something their way and you try to correct them. You're offered a solution and you object. You expect one thing and receive another, and you express your displeasure. Something contradicts your plan, and you rush to attack it, trying to steer the situation in what you think is the right direction. Now, try loosening your control and giving more freedom to the flow. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything or accept everything as it is. Just change your approach. Shift your focus from controlling to observing. Aim to observe more and control less. Don't be quick to dismiss, argue, or prove your point, intervene, manage, or criticize. Give the situation a chance to resolve itself without your interference. By relinquishing control, you may actually gain more control over the situation than you had before. When you look back, you'll see that your attempts to control were counterproductive, that others' suggestions weren't meaningless, that arguing wasn't worth it, and that your intervention was unnecessary. What you saw as obstacles weren't obstacles at all. problems tend to resolve themselves positively without your involvement. And what you received, even if it wasn't according to your plan, wasn't such a bad outcome after all. Even with this knowledge, some of you might still wonder, how do I let go? It's easy to say, but hard to do. So here are some additional tips that can help if you're struggling to let go of something that's troubling you. Accept it. Often we are unwilling to admit that the scenario our mind has created is a losing one. We carry a suitcase without a handle and keep pretending everything is fine instead of discarding it. For example, consider a bad movie at the theater. You realize it's terrible but stay because you've already paid for the ticket. In the end, you waste not only your money but also your time and mood. Sometimes it's essential not only to let go but also to recognize when something isn't worth pursuing. If something isn't working or is moving too slowly, it might simply not be your path. Distract yourself and move on. Bring something new into your life. Something you've always wanted to try but never did. How do you let go of a situation, stop thinking about it, and stop worrying? Distract yourself. Find new love, a new job, a new hobby, new friends, new goals, and new dreams. Move forward, leaving past failures behind. Let go of fears, resentments, and mistakes. Start anew. How many times have you already done this? Almost all of us have left jobs, relationships, or places of residence at some point. Sometimes it's frightening because of the uncertainty, but it's also very exciting. You're not the first and won't be the last. Be bold. Practice mindfulness. If you feel your thoughts becoming negative or causing you to cling to something, try asking yourself, what am I feeling? Analyze your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. After a minute, focus on your breath. Notice how the air enters and leaves your lungs. Keep breathing. Allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel while focusing on your breath. Breathe through each emotion. If your thoughts start to wander, bring your focus back to your breathing. Use positive affirmations. Affirmations will help you shift your focus from worries and calm down. Write down or memorize your favorite affirmations. And when you find yourself returning to the past in your thoughts or holding on to something, repeat them. Remember the main rule of reality. The world reflects your attitude towards it. When you are dissatisfied with the world, it turns away from you. When you fight the world, it fights you back. But when you stop fighting, the world meets you halfway.